We welcome you to Cary, North Carolina at Salem Stadium in Wake Med Soccer Park for a pivotal game in USL League One action as North Carolina FC looks for their first home win of 2022 against the most resolute team in the early phases of the year. It's NCFC versus Tormenta FC on ESPN+. Thanks for joining us here in the press box. I'm Brian Ware along with Andrew Tate. And Andrew, the performance that they put in last week over at Tucson, Coach John Bradford said it was their best performance of the year. Now they need to bring it home to get 3 points here.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a massive 3 points on the road. They dug it out from a goal behind, but back here in Cary, they've struggled to get things going. And today, great weather. We're looking for a great performance today.
And one of the players that Coach Bradford mentioned was Jaden Cervania. He had probably his best game of the season, and they're looking for more from him. Yeah,
absolutely. We've seen flickers or glimpses of what he's capable of, and last weekend he showed up in the second half, latching onto a great through ball from OLX Anderson to score the equaliser to get them back on level terms, and then he won a penalty which OLX Anderson slotted away deep into the end of the game to get the 3 points and come back here.
Wake Med Soccer Park is home to a lot of great performances, and one player on Tormenta that had an incredible run in 2021 was the Englishman Jamil Roberts when he played in college for Marshall, winning the national championship.
Yeah, making a name for himself here. So the good memories coming back here to this area. He's a player that reminds me a lot for fans of the EPL. Reminds me a lot of like Stuart Downing. He's got a great left foot, very crafty on the ball. Showed well in midweek in the Open Cup against Miami. Had a couple of good chances there, but a player with real quality who'll be looking to provide for Tormenta today.
One of the players that Coach Bradford loved was OLX Anderson. He is going to be up top with Garrett McLaughlin. We'll have the lineups and the kickoff coming up next.
Continental Tire has been a proud supporter of soccer for more than a decade. We've been there both on and off the field for some of the greatest celebrations. We've watched with you as the game and personalities have gotten bigger. We are proud to continue standing alongside you, supporting the game that gives us all so much. Together, we've shared thousands of incredible goals and celebrations. Here's to many more to come.
So, how do you like your urgent care? At Wake Med, we have urgent care just about everywhere. Urgent care that specializes in orthopedics and kids. My Care 365, open every day of the year. Even virtual urgent care. Yup, urgent care in your jammies on your tablet. So download the Wake Med All Access app and get urgent care that's caring, convenient, and just the way you like it.
Goal number 34, Will Pulisic.
We're just about set for kickoff between North Carolina FC and Tormenta FC. It is 7th versus 2nd early on in the standings. Brian Ware and Andrew Tate with you. And Andrew, let's get to the NCFC starting 11. This is a starting 11 that Coach Bradford is very comfortable with.
Yeah, we've seen it a few times this season, haven't we? And it's the same back four that we've seen a few times, and it's a solid back four. Flores Blanco comes back in for Max Flick, so it's a return to normal. And then after that, we're looking to get more out of McLaughlin and Anderson, who've chipped in with 5 goals between them. And then Jaden Cervania, man we highlight in the open on the flank there on the left, looking to provide a lot going forward. But looking for goals from all areas today.
This South Georgia Tormenta side, as we said in the open, one of the most resolute teams in the league. They've only allowed 1 goal all year, and it's because of that back four.
Yeah, the back four and the goalkeeper behind them in Pablo Yara. So they've got 6 consecutive clean sheets in USL and Open Cup. It was broken in midweek, but that back four is really what this team's all about, and defending from the front. So big 2 changes though for this team. Sharifi comes in along with Sterling up top, who scored his first goal for Tormenta. So he'll be looking to set the stage alight today.
South Georgia Tormenta FC have won both of their games on the road this year. And as kickoff is just moments away, we will slowly turn it over to PA announcer Mark Calloway.
Family lost one of its own, Nadal Nazmi Al-Badawi, father of our former team captain Nazmi Al-Badawi, passed away last week. We will always remember the incredible joy and passion he brought to our club and the sport of soccer. At this time, we ask you to please stand and join us for a moment of silence as we honor his life. Thank you.
Nazmi Al-Badawi, one of the superstars of this team. He played during the time that they were the Carolina Railhawks, and then had great success as he was trying to make it to MLS, but came back home several years ago, retired just last year, and Al-Badawi will always be the heart of this club. Yeah,
he's a legend of this club, isn't he? I think I remember being here for his last game before he retired, and I think he scored was it a hat-trick that day? I can't remember. I just remember everything he touched, and he was just a player with real quality in midfield, and obviously really sad to hear about the loss for his family this week.
Yeah, and he even represented Palestine and on international duty, so it was awesome for him to go out, across the world and be a part of the team as they were trying to make it to the World Cup and qualify for it. As kickoff has started with NCFC in blue, Tormenta FC in white. Here is Sharifi, one of the changes that was made for head coach Ian Cameron. As it slid to Keziah Sterling, left-footed cross tipped by Fernandez, and the flag is up for offsides. John Bradford in his 2nd season as the head coach of North Carolina FC. The team went 7-14 and 17, 7 wins, 17 losses, and 4 draws last year, finishing at the bottom of the 12-team league last year. But as we've gotten into the start of 2022, a lot of coaches have said that this NCFC team is really starting to grow and gain in confidence, as McLaughlin was pulled down by Central defender Josh Phelps, and we've already got the first card here in the 2nd minute.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be lucky to get away without a yellow card there, but the referee saw the little pull on the shoulder of Garrett McLaughlin there as the bounce did the better of Phelps. We'll see it again here. And there, the bounce just gets by him. You can see McLaughlin's free. It's a professional foul from Phelps there. He knew that was going to be a problem. McLaughlin does a really good job of getting in those channels. And this is a good early opportunity here to the left foot of Jaden Cervania.
Phelps, 29-year-old out of Australia. One of the original players remaining on this Tormenta side, signing with the club in 2017. And has made his way up to the first team, as Cervania will send in this free kick, lobs it up towards the far post. Fernandez couldn't make the connection.
And it's tough on it with a delivery like that that's floated in to get the power on it. And there's some big boys in this Tormenta side. We've talked about Skelton and Fernandez in recent weeks, but this Tormenta side has got the 2 centre-backs easily towering over 6 feet. And there'll be a handful on set pieces going the other way as well.
They will be, and Tormenta trying to play out from the back, and that's kind of been NCFC's bread and butter early on this year, is letting Anderson and McLaughlin put pressure on those center backs and the goalkeeper if they do try to play from the back. That's how they got their goal against Northern Colorado.
Yeah, they've had some success and some joy with it. You can see as a team, they've got a lot of consistency in the lineup so far this season, but the partnerships, the understanding's there, and they're quite happy for the other team to have the ball and wait for the moments to pick them off.
It's a very coordinated press when they do run it, as Cabral sends this down for Roberts to chase. Marked by Christian Young, now Bill Hart. Cut back, Cabral with the left foot, blocked. And that's a strong challenge by the center back, Jake Dengler, on Anderson.
Yeah, trying to put one on Anderson. Anderson's walking away very coolly from the scene there. But yeah, very good tackle from Dengler. But a good early moment there for Tormenta. They found some space, good cut back as well from Roberts.
And one of the things that this Tormenta side have been really successful in, as we mentioned, they've only allowed 1 goal defensively. They do really well in their tackles. They've won 76% of their tackles, which is an earth-shattering number this early in the season. You're usually around 50, 60%. 75 is a great start for Coach Cameron.
Yeah, they've got them well drilled and well organized. And you can see early on here from the intensity at which they're going into these challenges.
Bad touch from Blanco. And Tormenta is back on the ball. Coach Cameron, who's in his 2nd season as well as the head coach of Tormenta, was recently named the coach of the month in League One for April as Dengler's back pass. Yara has to clear it up in the air.
And it's funny you mentioned the coach of the month there, Brian. I mean, often that can be a bit of a curse. But Coach Cameron did turn the spotlight to the team and the players and said it's about their work, and it's an acknowledgement for everything they've done so far to this point.
Sliding challenge by Martinez yields Tormenta the free kick here in the 6th minute.
Martinez just having a little nibble there at Bill Hart. He's a talented boy, Bill Hart. He looks after the ball very, very well. Martinez just trying to nip one away there.
Bill Hart, 24 years old, out of Berlin. Here's Curtis Thorne. Can't connect with the pass from Heckenberg. This is the 4th all-time meeting between North Carolina FC and Tormenta FC.
And the only defeat in league play, right?
Yeah, the boys in blue got the 1-0 win at home. First week of the year, Garrett McLaughlin scoring the goal, and they finished that game with 10 men as Nelson Martinez was sent off.
And am I right in thinking that's the only goal they've conceded in USL League One?
Yes, they've had 4 consecutive clean sheets, and before they had that game against Inter Miami in the Open Cup, it was 6 in a row because they shut out the Charleston Battery in the 2nd round and the Birmingham Legion in the 3rd round. Here's Sterling. And that's a good touch by Fernandez.
And he's going to be a handful, Sterling, today. He's got experience in the Champions League with Tottenham Hotspur.
Yes, that was a nugget that I was amazed as Bill Hart with a shot. Pulisic spills it, and it's off the crossbar by Roberts. Golden chance for Jameel Roberts, who we highlighted in the Open. He had scored a lot of goals playing for Marshall, and that was a amazing chance after Will Pulisic spilled it on the shot from Bill Hart.
Yeah, warning signs early on here for North Carolina. We haven't really mentioned the weather here, Brian. It's a bit of a hot and humid one here. We had storms earlier today, and right now it's NCFC that are looking a little bit more lethargic in terms of the start. And that was, yeah, you're right, that was a fantastic chance, and I think we all expected the net to bulge when it fell back to Roberts there.
Dengler, long ball towards Sterling. Pulisic plays it with his foot. And the control from Cervania, former Birmingham player. And he's going to concede a throw. Our referee today is Wes Couette. Somersault, McLaughlin. Here's Young. Now Skelton.
Seen a couple of those balls skip through, haven't we, Brian? They watered the fields just moments before kickoff, and I think a few of the kids that were on here welcoming the players got a nice surprise. So, but you can see the players are just struggling to get to the pace of the game right now. It's a beautiful surface out here, and that's one of the things I'd heard from John Bradford was in midweek. I chatted with him about this complex and this facility and this field. Teams want to come here, they want to play, they're excited to play on this surface, and it's up to North Carolina to make it not a nice place to come. So.
Well, I mean, it's not just for, professional games, just with NCFC and also with the North Carolina Courage and NWSL action, but this has been a hotbed, for some international games. I mean, early at the start of the month, we had the El Salvador against Panama. There was a lot of blue and white for Nelson Blanco and Nelson Martinez getting some of their first action internationally.
Yeah, that's great to see.
Sharifi dispossessed by Cervania.
And it's a great kind of highlight to what can be achieved at this level at USL. It's a great opportunity for these players.
And now Anderson trying to take on Dangler. It's Anderson, McLaughlin, 1-0! And Anderson may have taken a brunt of the challenge as he cut it back for Garrett McLaughlin. But NCFC won't care. They're up 1-0 here in the 10th minute.
And what play that is from Alex Anderson. He's a player we highlighted in the Open, and he's in absolute rich vein of form. And it's those two we've talked about. They've combined for 5 goals this season already, the two of them. And it's Anderson for McLaughlin. It's a great ball here, in behind, just exactly where Anderson wants to be. And to the wrong side. It's a great cutback from Anderson, and McLaughlin just steers it home. And what a start. After a rocky Open, they're 1-0 up.
Yeah, he ran into the stanchion as he tried to stop himself as Garrett McLaughlin scores his 4th goal of the campaign. And Anderson will be credited with the assist. His 2nd of the year.
And that's great play from Anderson. You're thinking, he scored last week. He's 2-2. He's, got the bit between the teeth, but he was so unselfish there to make the correct decision to cut it back to his strike partner. And Garrett McLaughlin does what he does best. And for Dangler there, Dangler and Phelps, we've seen 2 opportunities now where both strikers have got on the wrong side of him. That's something they've got to really wrestle with now throughout the rest of the game. Phelps on a yellow card. That is the threat, the pace and the movement of the 2 forwards for NCFC.
McLaughlin, 24 years old, out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. As that's a foul on Anderson. Again, he was trying to put pressure on Dangler.
Yeah. I think we had the tackle, didn't we, on Dangler's tackle on Anderson earlier. I think that was Anderson getting one back a little bit there. You trying to tell me you're in a game? That I'm in a game? Well, guess what? You're in a game too, pal.
But that has been an amazing partnership so far in the first 5 games between McLaughlin and Anderson. Anderson out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as McLaughlin again pushing up field. McLaughlin's cross dealt with by Dangler. Nimbard over to Roberts. Now Billhart, marked by Somersault. And NCFC is back on the ball.
Yeah, and just talking about those 2 forwards, Brian, as you were there. I think we knew McLaughlin coming here was going to be a big pickup. Anderson, I think, it was a bit of a wild card, but the 2 together have been a match made in heaven so far. And the one that, talking to Coach Bradford, there's a young boy in the Rock squad at the moment. They're trying to get some visa things worked out. It hasn't come through in time at this point in time. And Nicholas Molina, and he's saying how good this boy is. So But in the meantime, they're good right now. I think keep those two fit and firing. It's a high line from NCFC. Trying to take away the space from Tormenta here. From the likes of Cabral and Bill Hart.
And here is the German, marked by Martinez. Driven towards the far sideline. And he calmly gets it to Nembard, trying to chip it to Sterling, and it's an easy play for Will Pulisic. Goalkeeper for NCFC on loan from Austin, out of the MLS. But he made a career here in the Triangle, playing for Duke University. Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL League One. Choose what you play with at www.selectsportamerica.com. Select, League's choice, player's choice. As we are now into the 15th minute, as Skelton, the captain, finds Arriaga with space to move. Slides it to Young, the fullback. Now Martinez. Boys in blue switching the point of attack with Nelson Blanco. Now McLaughlin, the goal scorer for NCFC, trying to slide it towards Blanco. Dealt with by Curtis Thorne, the fullback. Calm communication between Fernandez and Skelton, the new center back pairing for Coach John Bradford. Last year it was Max Flick and Malik Mbai.
And Britton Fisher and, you know, injuries and things like that, but there's lots of opportunities there. These two, though, have gotten the nod, and quite rightly so. Britton Fisher's waiting in the wings, the young pro here that's come through the academy, and at the moment can't get a look in just because of the great job that these two are doing. Skelton, certainly as captain, has been phenomenal in terms of his leadership and helping really glue these players together.
Yeah, and last year, Skelton played in USL League 2, winning the title with the Des Moines Menace.
Great name, huh? The Menace.
Well, he took the journey across the pond, trying to become a professional, and now here at NCFC, the 25-year-old is the captain. As Young finding Anderson, Phelps on a yellow card, lets him go, and a heavy touch gets away from Anderson. Golden chance there.
And you can see Phelps here, he's blowing early on here, this hot and humid conditions here. Anderson getting the wrong side, and he knows he can't foul him, and he tries to sort his feet out, Anderson, but it just flicks off his left knee out for a goal kick, much to the relief of Tormenta here. Oof. And that was a little bit of build out here from Tormenta, where we've seen so many occasions where North Carolina have been able to pick those off.
Yeah, and Summersall was asking, where's the press? Dengler trying to connect up with Thorne, goes out of play. This Tormenta side finished 11th in USL League One last year with 30 points. Only 6 players still on the team from 2021. And they lost nearly 70% of the players who scored goals from the team last year, primarily Marco Micheletto. The Italian scored 11 goals for them last year. He's now playing with the Columbus Crew as part of that MLS Next Pro division, which is why you had a change in the number of teams that moved from USL League One to this MLS Next Pro. It's those U23 sides wanting to get some action as McLaughlin gets by Dengler. McLaughlin into the box, trying to shoot it first time to the outside of the foot, and it goes begging.
I think he's actually looking for Anderson on the back post there. I think he's trying to find his strike partner, kind of caught in two minds between the shot and the pass, and I think he's looking to pick him out. He just doesn't quite get the the spin on the ball that he's looking to feed it into Anderson's path. But a great touch from McLaughlin to leave Dengler in his dust. And you can see the two forwards right now for NCFC are giving fits to the Tormenta centre-backs of Dengler and Phelps. Phelps is walking a tightrope of a yellow card, but the movement there is a great little touch from McLaughlin.
Yeah, McLaughlin, number 19 in blue, playing at SMU in college. And then last year, he played for Toronto 2. Advantage played. Gabriel Cabral, the Brazilian, finding Roberts. Now Billhart. Corner kick, first of the match here in the 19th minute as Billhart tried to get a step on Summersall.
And you see Skelton organising the players now. This is a big moment. Tormenta, opportunity to get the big boys strolling up from the back here, and a delivery come from Cabral. He's a set-piece specialist, I would say, the Brazilian. With a great right foot. And they've scored a few goals from set pieces in the league and in the Open Cup as well. A couple of their upsets against the Legion and the Battery. And
curls this one in. Went off the back of the head of Cervania. Tormenta keeping in. Roberts. Ball towards the spot, headed by Sharifi, and it's into the midst of Pulisic.
I don't think Coach John Bradford was happy with where the line was there. They were sitting a little deep, inviting the ball into a good area.
And that's happened a couple times. As obviously earlier in the game, Tormenta could have been up 1-0 as Anderson with pace to move.
Not much support either.
Looking to go one-on-one with Phelps. And that was a blistering chance. And it was last deflected by Phelps, so it's a throw over in the far corner.
Yeah, I think Anderson there, he looked up to see if he had support. He didn't, because the ball in behind and his pace left everyone behind him. And he just has a swaz at it. Keeper gets a touch, but be interesting to see how much. We've only played 20 minutes here, but the running of McLaughlin and Anderson's been immense. And you can see that, you know, after a tough trip to Miami to play in Fort Lauderdale against Miami in the Open Cup on Tuesday night, and they put a great showing up, and Coach Phil Neville felt that Tormenta was the better team, but they're looking leggy today.
Long throw by Young, Summersall's header into the midst of Pablo Jara.
Whereas NCFC had that trip back from Arizona, and they've had the whole week to prepare for this game. So be interested to see if that works in their favor at the end of today's 90 minutes.
Billhart was trying to slip it towards Sterling. Didn't know if the flag was going to go up on that pass, but again, Skelton and the defenders trying to activate Anderson and McLaughlin with those runs against the center backs. Roberts. Sterling, picked off by Fernandez. Slips all the way through to Anderson, and they wanted the flag, and they got it. And you see several of the Tormenta players a bit frustrated with the way they've played in this first part of the first half.
Yeah, and it's a different lineup, the two changes. Obviously, Sharifi and Sterling are no sort of mugs, you know, they've come in, they're good players, but when you're trying to make those changes, you had such consistency throughout the season, and you're playing a different style. Boschwood makes a big difference up top for them.
Good challenge by Fernandez as Sharifi was trying to slip that through, and now he brings down Cervania, and it will be a free kick.
I can't believe he's not going to get a yellow card for that one. Oh, the referee just teasing it there. And
there it is. Red card, yellow card in the 23rd minute.
Yeah, he went for a ride on the back of Cervania there, knowing that Cervania's got some pace to him, and you don't want him running at you. See, he just grabs a full chunk of the shirt there. He'd have done well to escape that one.
Sharifi played 4 years at Loyola Maryland in college and was selected by the New York Red Bulls after being a part of their academy. Young fouls the Tormenta player, and I believe it's Cabral who took some studs, and he's going to be put into the book. Christian Liu Young.
And it looks like a sore one for Cabral. And that was a good little bit of skill from Liu Young. He thought he was going to get there. Tough to see if he actually makes contact with the shin there, but we'll give Cabral the benefit of the doubt. And he's in the book as well, so.
So now we're about 24 minutes in, Andrew. What can you say about how both sides have played in this first half?
It's an interesting battle, which I think was what we thought coming in. The two teams, 4-4-2, players in form, defensively solid. Oh,
and Sterling challenged by Skelton. Play was allowed to continue, and it's a corner kick.
It's a big tackle from Skelton. Sterling seems happy with it. Seemed a little risky going to ground in that moment, but it was good play from Cabral. Flicks it off to Sterling. And then gets lucky as well with the deflection off the back of Skelton as well. But for me, it's exactly what I expected. It's a tight game. It could be 1-0 the other way. It could be 1-1. But for me, is it going to be an explosive game? We'll see in terms of goals. Because neither team scored, many. A couple of multi-goal games for Tormenta. Only just one game for North Carolina where they've scored more than one goal, which was last weekend. Defensive stability has been the key for both teams to get results. So, but I've got a feeling today, Brian, that there could be a few more.
Fernandez switches the field over to Christian Liu Young, puts it into space for McLaughlin. Phelps will pass it back to his goalkeeper, Pablo Jara. Billhart winning the battle against Blanco.
Yeah, Billhart's done really well there, because when Jara goes long, I'm not thinking that Billhart's the target. He's not the biggest player, but he does really well to get the ball down and establish possession high up the field for Tormenta. But for me, Brian, it's a really good tactical battle in how both teams are trying to build out, trying to get the ball down on this beautiful surface and play. But the pressing moments, the pace of players, the creativity of Billhart. Oh, Dengler does well there to dangle out his leg there, and otherwise Anderson was in.
And here is Cabral. As we see over these early stages of the first half, North Carolina likes to play the long ball, try to go route one, and now Tormenta is doing that as Fernandez gets the touch off Sterling.
Yeah, great play from Fernandez there. Nipping in off a slightly heavy touch from Sterling. He's not had many opportunities to start this season, so this big pitch and playing up top sort of in a lone striker role with Billhart off him, it's a lot to ask against the presence of Fernandez and Skelton at the back for North Carolina.
Cabral back to Nembard. Now Roberts. Brazilian over to Heckenberg. Switching the point of attack to the fullback, Thorne. Dengler. Now looking for Roberts. Good control from the Englishman against Christian Young. Chips it in towards Sterling on the edge of the box, marked by Martinez. Now Arriaga. Sterling evades both of them. Slips it into Sharifi, tried to do a 1-2. It falls back to Cabral. And his shot is pulled wide, but it's deflected by the sliding challenge from Skelton, and it's a corner kick.
Yeah, Skelton, he's always throwing his body in the way of something. And there, it looks like he got an important touch for Cabral being in that situation. It's a great effort from Skelton. He's a fully committed player in every single moment. He's had 37 clearances this year, the most in the league. Next best player is 30, so he's always in the right place at the right time.
And he does one here as the assistant referee signals to Wes Couette of a foul. And a free kick to North Carolina FC. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022, whether your club is on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL League One action on ESPN+, the home to the USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com.
And Brian, building off that, I just wanted to bring up the elephant in the room. I had a great opportunity to jump on ESPN Plus today and catch the back end of that fantastic FA Cup final. You know, very sorry for your Blue Boys, but the better team, as always, came out on top.
Oh no! I mean, look, I still believe Chelsea. And obviously, Chelsea and Liverpool, two of probably the best 4 or 5 clubs in the world.
Yeah.
And the fact that you had 2 finals, domestic cup finals, that went 0-0 for 120 minutes, and the difference was PKs.
Yeah.
It just tells you the respect that Tuchel and Klopp have for each other. Obviously, seeing players miss penalties, you don't want their careers to be defined by them, but it's going to be tough for Chelsea fans as they've lost now 3 consecutive FA Cup finals as Heckenberg brings down Somersault.
Yeah, it was great coverage, though. Just seeing all the celebrations at the end, Brian, you know.
and look, you know, everybody's saying, oh, can Liverpool win the quadruple? I mean, that's going to be hard to do considering that Manchester City has a 3-point lead with 2 to go.
Yeah, you just focus on the next game. That's all you can do. Just like today,
yeah.
These 2 teams, Tormenta coming back into it today after great exploits in the Open Cup, and they're getting a welcome back to USL League One today with this 1-0 scoreline in favor of North Carolina.
Yeah, we're a third of the way through the game, and the boys in blue have a 1-0 lead on a 10th minute goal from Garrett McLaughlin on the assist from Olex Anderson, and basically playing Route 1 football. And the center forwards for head coach John Bradford putting Ian Cameron's center backs to the test. Here's Cabral.
Oh, that's going to work out.
Yeah, it was poked by Martinez. Here's Keziah Sterling, and it's 1-1. A beneficial touch allows Keziah Sterling, the 23-year-old out of England, who we mentioned earlier, played for Tottenham 6 years ago. He levels the score at 1 apiece.
2-2 for Sterling. Gets into a great position. I think it's Martinez here, just has a little nibble at Bilhart and just pokes it into the path of Sterling, who fends off Lou Young and then slots it past Pulisic expertly. And he took his goal well against Miami in midweek in the Open Cup. And he's rewarded the opportunity today that Coach Cameron's offered him with a big goal to get his team back on level terms here at Wake Med Soccer Park.
Keziah Sterling with his first goal on USL League One play. And now the boys in white with renewed purpose, as they were trying to play those simple passes to allow the strikers and attackers to run between the defenders, as the ball is now switched over to Luis Arriaga in the far corner. Marked by Deshaun Nembard, back to Young.
I think it's just a really good game here, Brian, between 2 evenly matched teams, solid back fours and goalkeepers, and teams trying to play, get on the ball and create things, but well coached as well. I think it's just a really finely poised game as they look to build out again here. We'll see if North Carolina can set that press.
Blanco wins the header against Sharifi, and NCFC can get back on the ball.
I think that's one of the reasons why we're talking about Route 1, the ball going that little bit longer, is both teams do like to be on the front foot when the other team has the ball. They're looking to press and make the game compact, which opens up on a big field like we have here at Wake Med Soccer Park. It's a big open field that if you can switch it and get in behind them, then it really nullifies all that work you're doing to get compact and press. McLaughlin over to Somersault. Now Anderson.
Trying to see what his options are. It's Blanco with a first-time cross, and it's dealt with by Phelps.
I think what we're seeing now, Brian, is you see McLaughlin getting those pockets of space. They've threatened so much in behind now. The back line of Tormenta's having to drop, which is opening up that space between the midfield four and the back four for McLaughlin to come short and get Flores into the play down the left there, as you just saw.
Throw in here in the 34th minute, and Blanco will try to put some arc into it, aiming towards Raheem Summersall, who played for Tormenta last year. Playing with some good friends that he played with in 2021.
And I like Raheem Summersall. I think he's been a big addition to this North Carolina FC team in that middle of the park. He gets about the field well. He's aggressive. He offers a lot of mobility, especially when you're playing with a midfield two. And Martinez is not the biggest. He's a crafty, clever player. And Summersall has to pick up a lot of that work.
And that's some good passing from Tormenta as Billhart and Sharifi link up.
Ooh.
Challenged by Sterling into Martinez, and we got another yellow card here in the 35th minute as the goal scorer, Keziah Sterling, will go into Wes Couette's book.
I think it's an honest tackle from Sterling. Just had a nibble, but we've seen it's a very tightly contested game. Flores does well just to get in the way. The ball's loose, and he just sort of steps on Martinez there to saw one.
Yeah, we've seen several of those challenges be called, because I believe that was how Christian Young got his yellow card for that kind of late action into the studs into the shoe.
There's no malice there. I don't think he's a split second too late. The referee, I think, got it right. But we've had a few yellow cards dished out here, Brian. There's a few people now that, with so much time to go and some leggy legs going into the second half, we'll just see if they can stay out of the referee's bad books.
Yeah, 3 Tormenta players with yellow cards, including Phelps, who gets the ball off McLaughlin. North Carolina only 1 yellow card as Cervania picks Thorne's pocket. And now can he find some space to move the ball, but not a lot of movement. He'll just pass it back to Blanco.
And it's funny, I think back to being in England and watching games, and I could see fans shouting at the players, go forward, go forward. But in this sort of weather on this pitch and the intensity that's being played, you can't always go forward.
Cervania in space against Heckenberg. He gets taken down and gets a free kick out of it.
You've got to manage that, the flow of the game and the energy and the control. Know when to speed it up and when to slow it down.
And CFC was trying to play it quick. A little bit of dissent from Jamil Roberts. And now Jaden Cervania with his left foot will try to send it in. You see the center backs moving up to the edge of the box.
There's a late run up there, Brian. I was a bit surprised by that. I don't know if they got a shout from someone if there's something in the works here. There's a late approach from the back four to go up.
37th minute. Cervania's free kick dealt with by Dengler. And it's going to be a throw to the boys in blue.
It's going to be tough to get a set piece, bit of set piece success against those 2 towers in the back four of Dengler and Phelps. But you can see there Skelton was trying to do some type of roll there, spin to the back post. The delivery not quite on point.
Two players played for El Salvador. Blanco and Martinez linking up as that's a strong challenge by Gustavo Fernandez against Adrian Billhart. Puts the ball back in North Carolina FC's hands.
That's great play from Fernandez. Allows his team to stay camped in Tormenta territory here. You thought Billhart getting the ball and turning there could be a problem. Fernandez stood tall, very composed, and snuffed out the danger.
And both center backs have done that during certain phases of the game in this first half. Yeah. Skelton with some sliding challenges, as you see right here.
Yeah, Skelton's
reading
a lot more. He commits a lot more on the line. Fernandez a little bit smoother, a little bit cooler. But they're a good balance, the two of them.
Blanco trying to evade Thorne, finds Cervania. Slips it into Anderson. Right-footed shot, and it's just over the bar.
Anderson, he's got so much magic. You never know what he's going to do, if it's a bicycle kick or a world-class goal, or he needs a few to go off his shin or of his nose or something like that. But we've seen a few really good opportunities for him so far this season. I like the idea there. Just doesn't quite get the shape on it.
Yeah, the quick decision to just open the body up.
Yeah. Found a little bit of space and worked it.
Well, coming up at halftime, we will look over the standings, some news and notes as the USL League One season heads into its second month of action. Roberts was trying to link up with Bill Hart.
There's not a lot of movement ahead of the ball for North Carolina right now, so they're patiently building. And you see the movement and the forwards, those runs that were there for the first 20 minutes that were relentless, have really sort of dropped off now.
Blanco, Martinez, Fernandez to Skelton. McLaughlin coming up to claim the ball, and he gets it here from Christian Young. Now Arriaga gets away from Roberts. McLaughlin, the goal scorer for NCFC. Keziah Sterling, the goal scorer for Tormenta. As Phelps dinks the ball off of Anderson, and Tormenta get a free kick. And as you mentioned, with not a lot of that movement, especially as the back line has dropped a little further back, it can allow Dangler and Phelps to try to mark those guys and then pick them off when they do receive the ball.
Yeah, in tight, compact spaces, they're difficult to maneuver. But they'll take those balls all day, North Carolina. But yeah, but they haven't been able to break through in that when they're compact and sitting in that low block. That's why I think this team's very comfortable. They've shown in Open Cup against bigger, stronger teams or more equipped teams, are talented. They've done really well on the road at the Battery, on the road against Birmingham, on the road against Miami in the first half. They were so unlucky to be going in 1-0 down at the break. They acquit themselves ever so well, and I know Coach Ian Cameron in his post-game talks was ever so proud of his players and the way they represented Tormenta. Oh, what's a good tackle. He's got the ball.
And Bill Hart slips it through for Sharifi. It's Barry Sharifi who makes it 2-1 in favor of Tormenta. The quick transition after the turnover. And after all that energy that NCFC had in the opening 10 to 20 minutes, that is now gone as the visitors are up 2-1 on the goal from Barry Sharifi.
Yeah, the ball goes into McLaughlin. He's got the ball, and Phelps does really well to win the ball. And it's a fantastic ball from Bill Hart into Sharifi, who does ever so well to compose himself and find the far corner past Pulisic. But it all came from McLaughlin dropping short and Phelps just nicking it off him. I think North Carolina coaching staff felt that it was a foul on McLaughlin. I'm not quite too sure I agree with it. But it's just a great ball from Bill Hart in that moment, because Sterling was way offside, and I think most people would have pulled the trigger on trying to find him, but that composure from Bill Hart to then break the line with that angled through ball right into the pass of Sharifi, who gets his second of the season in a big moment right before half-time. Kind of knocks the stuffing out of North Carolina, who've had some really good moments in this first half, and we're scratching their heads as to how they find themselves a goal down at this point.
So how can North Carolina FC pick the pieces up? John Bradford will now have a much different team talk than he had, I think, planned maybe about 5 minutes ago. Being in a 1-1 game, now a 2-1 deficit as Fernandez tries to link it up with Blanco. Cervania gets the second ball, And Anderson is brought down by Curtis Thorne in a free kick.
Yeah, the question being asked, is that not a yellow card? But it's funny just watching Coach Ian Cameron down here. He's got the bit between his teeth. He's walking in line with his back four as they're squeezing up. It's good play from Anderson, just nicks it away from Thorne. And it's a good opportunity here. Arriaga's right foot. We've seen a lot of Sylvania on the other side. This is, I think, Arriaga's first real chance from this area.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be trying to chip it in towards the far post. Skelton with his hand raised. It's a little short. Sylvania off the head of Cabral, and now Billhart trying to spring the counter for Jameel Roberts and Tormenta. And now Arriaga tracks all the way back as him and Sharifi are on an island. Back to Curtis Thorne. Here in the late stages of the first half, it's North Carolina 1, Tormenta 2. As there's a foul by Sterling and a free kick to North Carolina.
Really enjoying this game, Brian, so far. It's got a bit of everything. Some needles, some tackles, some yellow cards, some great play, build-up play. And you see the intensity of the coaches just down here below us, Brian, is right there as Coach Ian Cameron's right on the edge of his technical area, barking out orders to his players. He's feeling that they've got the bit between the teeth here and want to make sure his team gets in a 2-1 at half-time. But the thing for me, Brian, just going into the break is North Carolina, they found themselves down a goal on the road last week. It's the same situation, right? And they've had opportunities in this first half where they could have capitalized, and there's no reason why in the second half they can't come out and take advantage of the fact they've had a few more days rest and preparation for this game.
And also, what other ideas can they come up with? As the fourth officials announced, there'll be a minimum of 3 minutes as McLaughlin in a challenge with Nembard, and it's going to be a goal kick.
The question asked there, I think, of a few North Carolina players is there a push here on McLaughlin? I mean, it's in the back. It's a nudge in the back, in the box. I think it's a very fair question to ask. Would it be a soft penalty to give? I think it would, but that's the position Nembhard puts himself in there. There's no need to make that contact. And I think in talking to Coach John Bradford during the week, Brian, I think he just feels that they're not getting those breaks at those moments. You know? And I think the last game, there was 3 decisions that the referee or the linesman could have gone the other way, and they didn't, and they ended up on the wrong end of the scoreline.
Ball finally brought under control by Heckenberg, but that's a good... And a whistle against Martinez.
Wow.
And John Bradford asking questions about how that's not...
I don't think there's any difference for me, Brian, between the tackle on McLaughlin back here. If anything, I felt the one on McLaughlin might have been a bit firmer. Martinez, he's been certainly the culprit on a few occasions for a few fouls, but here he's nibbling earlier. If you don't call that one for me looks perfect. He gets the ball. There's a bit of contact with the player afterwards, but for me, in the run of play, that's fine, because both teams have given as good as they've got in that moment. But I think the consistency, that's the thing that, as a coach, you pull your hair out about. The consistency between decisions. If you're not going to call that, then you don't call that. And obviously it hurts even more when you get the nudge in the back of the penalty box 2 minutes earlier. That just frustrates you a little bit more, but they've got to find a way through this, the frustration, the decisions that they don't feel they're getting, and find a way.
So after going down 2-1, North Carolina trying to ask some final questions in this first stanza.
I know you like your Premier League action, Brian. Dengler just reminds me so much of Craig Dawson. You know, he's just a towering centre-back. He knows how to use his body, how to manhandle a forward. Oh, that's a tumble.
Sharifi brought down by Fernandez. Going to be a free kick for Tormenta here in the late stages of stoppage time in this first half.
I think it's smart from Sharifi. He probably gets a nudge in the back, but it looked a little suspect how he went down, but he's holding his knee, so. But it allows them just run this clock down here towards the end of the first half. And after going that goal down, to bounce back to where they are now, it's a credit to the character of this Tormenta team.
Cabral with a quick set piece. Dengler got a head on it, and Pulisic makes the necessary save. And that is the last action of the first half. North Carolina FC was up 1-0 from a goal from Garrett McLaughlin on an excellent cutback from Oleg Sanderson. But Tormenta has shown their resolve. Keziah Sterling with the equalizer in the 31st minute. And then Barry Sharifi on a great pass from Adrian Bilhart gives Tormenta the lead. It's North Carolina FC 1, South Georgia Tormenta FC 2 here at half.
Continental Tire has been a proud supporter of soccer for more than a decade. We've been there both on and off the field for some of the greatest celebrations. We've watched with you as the game and personalities have gotten bigger. We are proud to continue standing alongside you, supporting the game that gives us all so much. Together, we've shared thousands of incredible goals and celebrations. Here's to many more to come.
At Strategic Systems, we understand that a reliable IT infrastructure doesn't just materialize by itself. We've been helping Triangle businesses of all sizes build and manage secure, reliable technology solutions for over 25 years. Strategic Systems and CEI. Are you transforming your business?
So, how do you like your urgent care? At Wake Med, we have urgent care just about everywhere. Urgent care that specializes in orthopedics and kids. MyCare 365, open every day of the year. Even virtual urgent care. Yup, urgent care in your jammies, on your tablet. So download the Wake Med All Access app and get urgent care that's caring, convenient, and just the way you like it.
North Carolina FC had the early lead in the first half, but Tormenta with two in succession as they have the 2-1 lead at halftime here at Wake Med Soccer Park. And we thank you again for joining us here in the press box. I'm Brian Ware along with Andrew Tate. Andrew, that first half was a big shift in momentum. As we said, North Carolina, it was all them in the first 20 minutes. But then when some changes by Tormenta defensively allowed them to get on the ball, they got much more aggressive, and that's how they have the lead.
Yeah, it's a great game. I think it's exactly what we expected coming into it. Two very evenly matched teams playing a 4-4-2. And we've just seen moments. There was an early chance for Tormenta that came back off the crossbar. North Carolina goes up off a great moment from Anderson. And then we find ourselves in the position where we are. A couple of decisions maybe go against North Carolina, but it's very evenly poised.
Yeah, it's been a very even game. As we said, both of these teams separated by only 1 point in the standings. We'll get to the standings in just a moment, but let's also look at some of their upcoming schedules coming into the month of May and early June. First, for North Carolina FC, they've got some pivotal home games here in the month of May against Greenville and against a team they've had very good success in the Richmond Kickers.
Yeah, and they've got to make this home stadium a fortress, which they've been unable to do so far. Two defeats and a tie, but good opportunities now today, the second half, and then Greenville and Richmond, some local rivals coming into Cary, North Carolina. Yeah,
and an old rival coming back in the Charlotte Independents coming on. They'll be coming on in June. As we look over at Tormenta's upcoming schedule, Central, as they have not had a win at home either, and they have a couple of West Coast teams coming to the East. Do a chance to get some points there.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be looking to. Nobody enjoys going to South Georgia, apparently, from what I understand, in terms of the stadium there. They've made it a really hard, difficult place to go, but North Carolina went in there and got the 3 points, so they'll be looking to get some points to really propel themselves to the top of the table.
Yeah, so far Tormenta at home have only had 2 draws and a loss. That loss coming to NCFC in week 1. We'll take a break here at Wake Med Soccer Park. It's North Carolina 1, South Georgia Tormenta 2. We'll have news and notes and standings after this.
Topics. I mean, yeah, let's talk about today where I'm gonna go topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?
And it's all turning up goals. Oh, the audacity! Early fireworks and Wild Horse Pass.
Welcome to Tampa Bay. And he drills it. Wow! What a goal!
Halftime here at Salem Stadium. The home team looking for their first win of the campaign at Wake Med Soccer Park. Again trailing 2-1 against South Georgia Tormenta FC. Brian Ware and Andrew Tate with you. And Andrew, let's look at the standings at this point in USL League One. There's not a lot of separation in these early opening 5-6 games of the campaign, as North Carolina FC currently sitting in 7th place, but with 7 points.
Yeah, it's incredibly tight, and I think it's going to remain that way throughout the season, Brian. We saw Northern Colorado Hailstorm here a couple of weeks ago, and what a great team there and a great addition to the league, and I can see them being up towards the top, and Chattanooga rolled in, and they were fantastic, and you know, you've got your Union Omaha, who have advanced to the last 16 of the Open Cup. They're sitting in 9th, and they're the reigning champions as well, so I think there's going to be a lot of movement between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, Chattanooga Red Wolves obviously doing very well, especially offensively. They scored 11 goals on the campaign. And next, we're going to move to the scores that are for this Saturday and Sunday. Richmond Kickers and Union Omaha will play later today at 6:30. Chattanooga at home against Central Valley Fuego. And on Sunday, Charlotte Independence will host Tucson. The one game we haven't mentioned is Greenville. They won their game yesterday against Madison 2-0 to put them into the top 6 and bump North Carolina FC down.
Yeah, and I think just you look at all those games, the tasty encounters ahead, but like FC Tucson, who were languishing towards the bottom, I believe went to Chattanooga and got a win early in the season. So you just never know what this league's going to throw up, and it's incredibly competitive, and that's why I'm really enjoying the involvement of soccer in this country.
Let's head over to the news and notes. We mentioned Chattanooga. Teixeira and Espinoza did very well in their 4-1 win against Northern Colorado. Teixeira with a brace, Espinoza with a couple of assists, leading the league with 4. Tresor Mbuyu was named the Player of the Month for April. The independent striker had 3 goals and an assist in the first 4 games. And as you mentioned, Omaha, the last team standing in USL League One in the Open Cup. And they take on an MLS side in Minnesota United.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a great representation of the way and the strength of the Open Cup. I watched the live feeds the other night where they were covering the games all across the country. I think it went on for like 6 hours, and you know, seeing teams in all the different leagues get out there and compete against the big boys was fantastic, and it was so refreshing to see.
Yeah, there's 2 other USL teams in the round of 16, Louisville City in the champ and Sacramento Republic. And as we finally look at the team of the week, Philip Breno, he was excellent with some big saves in their game against Richmond. That's why he was named the Player of the Week. But several North Carolina FC players that we mentioned in the Open, Jaden Cervania and Olex Anderson, they were pivotal in their win against Tucson.
Yeah, they combined for each other to set up the other one's goals. So there was a big second half performance from those two, and they'll be looking for more magic from them today. And Christian Liu Young, a surprise inclusion in there, but I know from Coach John Bradford was really pleased to see that, and it just shows the work that the whole squad's doing here.
So congratulations to the players making the USL Team of the Week for Week 6. We're going to take one more break and then get set for the highlights. 3 goals in the opening 45 minutes here on ESPN+.
Continental Tire has been a proud supporter of soccer for more than a decade. We've been there both on and off the field for some of the greatest celebrations. We've watched with you as the game and personalities have gotten bigger. We are proud to continue standing alongside you, supporting the game that gives us all so much. Together, we've shared thousands of incredible goals and celebrations. Here's to many more to come.
At Strategic Systems, we understand that a reliable IT infrastructure doesn't just materialize by itself. We've been helping Triangle businesses of all sizes build and manage secure, reliable technology solutions for over 25 years. Strategic Systems and CEI. Are you transforming your business?
So, how do you like your urgent care? At Wake Med, we have urgent care just about everywhere. Urgent care that specializes in orthopedics and kids. My Care 365, open every day of the year. Even virtual urgent care. Yup, urgent care in your jammies, on your tablet. So download the Wake Med All Access app and get urgent care that's caring, convenient, and just the way you like it.
Getting set for the second half here at Wake Med Soccer Park between North Carolina FC and South Georgia Tormenta FC. The visitors are up 2-1. And as we get ready for the highlights, we mentioned, Andrew, North Carolina really got going, especially after this chance.
Yeah, it was an early wake-up call. It was a good strike from Bill Hart, and it fell to Roberts, and you thought he was going to nest on the back of the net, but he steered it onto the crossbar. But here was the chance. This was what woke the Tormenta up. It was Anderson getting behind Dengler. It was sort of the story of the first half, but he did so well on a bad angle to cut it back to McLaughlin, who did everything right to finish it. And Anderson ended up with a bang for his buck there, unfortunately for him. But it was got them ahead But then we saw this, the change in momentum. It was Sterling getting in here after Martinez won the ball, or he thought he had, that landed at Sterling's feet, and he scored his second goal in 2 games, expertly guiding it past Pulisic.
And Keziah Sterling even things up at 1. And then again, defensive pressure opens things up for Tormenta.
Yeah, and it was Phelps this time dangling a foot in there to get the ball. Bill Hart steers it expertly to Sharifi, who steered it home for 2-1. And they've got their noses in front here at half-time and a big second half to come.
Looking at the field, it looks like no changes have been made to start the second half. And Tormenta will get things started. In terms of looking at some of the stats that we have, Tormenta had 11 shots in the first half. North Carolina only 4. And 9 of those 11 were in the box for Tormenta, the team in white. North Carolina FC in blue, as Skelton deals with the header on the run from Bill Hart. Martinez will get it back to Christian Lu Young. If you're John Bradford, obviously you mentioned team talk is a little different than what it was, moments before halftime. What's the energy level that he's trying to ensue in his guys?
I mean, it's the enthusiasm, the encouragement. They managed to go on that road to a tough place in Tucson and grind out that 2-1 win from this exact position where they're a goal down at half-time. So the chances have been there. They can complain and moan about calls that didn't go their way or what have you. But ultimately, it's in their hands, and they can make it work by getting the ball into the feet of Sylvania and in behind to Anderson and McLaughlin and just continue to poke and probe at this back four, because I think there are chances for them in this second 45.
Sylvania tried to slip it to Blanco, and it's going to go out of play. Goal kick for Tormenta. As we said, coming in at the top of the broadcast, North Carolina FC looking for their first home win of 2022. They've had, this is their 4th home game of the year, 1 draw and 2 losses. Tormenta, meanwhile, have won both of their games away from home. 2-0 wins at Greenville and at Tucson.
And based on that, Brian, you don't hold out much hope for North Carolina winning today, do you? But it's a funny old game, this.
Here is Christian Lu Young, the fullback. Last year played at Fort Lauderdale, the U23 side for Inter Miami. He was trying to link up with McLaughlin, the goal scorer. Ball pings back to Skelton, and North Carolina FC are back on the ball.
It's looking to me like a little bit of a tweak for Tormenta. Sterling's definitely kind of hanging out more towards the right, and Sharifi's playing a lot more centrally, it looks like. They're going to sort of invite Flores forward, I think, a little bit more, and maybe try and get Sterling into those pockets of spaces and see. But obviously they've got that 1-goal lead, and it's North Carolina's to try and break them down now.
Yeah, it looks like defensively they've really put 7 at the back and 3 up top. Kind of like playing a bank of 4 and a bank of 3. Phelps spins away, but gives it away. Here's Lu Young to Somersault.
I think they're going to try and really snuff out those entry opportunities into Anderson and McLaughlin, because that was where a lot of the damage was coming.
Quick cross in. Second ball dealt with by Thorne as Bill Hart trying to chase off Somersault. Skelton gets it wide to Lu Young. Puts it into space for Arriaga. Cuts it back to McLaughlin. Arriaga sees the pressure, gets back to Lu Young, his cross. And Cervania tried to put the shot on. Ball fell underneath him, but NCFC's back on the ball. Martinez. McLaughlin. Swings it to Lu Young. Up against Nembard. Pablo Jara telling his defensive line to move up just a little bit. as they are at the edge of the box as Blanco tries to get a beat on Sterling, but he runs out of real estate. Goal kick.
And a very disciplined start for Tormenta in the second half. Be interested to see if this is going to be the tail of the next 40 minutes or so. But first 5 minutes in here, you can see they're not giving them any space behind. That fatigue, and they expelled a lot of energy, both the forwards and the back four. The forwards for North Carolina, the back four for Tormenta. But they're really going to try and make it difficult for North Carolina. They know they don't score a lot of goals, and they've got to conjure up at least 2 more to get a win.
Yeah, as we said at the beginning of this broadcast, Tormenta only allowing up to this point, before the game started, only 1 goal in the opening 5 games of the campaign, including their last league game being a 0-0 draw at home to the Charlotte Independents. Good tackle by Cabral.
I think we saw that goal on the road for NCFC in Arizona last week, where we saw Sylvania getting beyond the back line, and we haven't seen much of that today. And I think they've got to find a way to get him on the shoulder of the defenders and commit a few more bodies forward. But the problem with that is going the other way.
Yeah, he was in space, and the bad back pass allows Bill Hart to get the counterattack going for Tormenta. Roberts, that's an excellent header dealt with by Nelson Martinez as he sprinted back. As Bill Hart was kind of right at the edge of the 6-yard box with the possibility of an open header to make it 3-1.
Yeah, acrobatic header there from Martinez, flying through the air to get a flick on it. But great work from Bill Hart. You can see the quality he has. He's not the biggest in stature, but he wriggled away from Skelton there and causing all types of trouble.
Free kick to Tormenta. The USL Championship returns to ESPN News as the back-to-back Eastern Conference title holders, Tampa Bay Rowdies, head west to take on a high-powered Phoenix Rising FC Sunday at 9 Eastern on ESPN News. Here's Roberts putting in space for Cabral, and Martinez tracks back, and he's pushed down by the Brazilian. And obviously there were 4 yellow cards in the first half, and I wonder if Wes Couette, the referee, will put a note in that. Obviously, he gave the yellow cards when he had to. Those challenges were, unfair, and
I think he could have given out 1 or 2 more, Brian, on a couple of occasions, but I think for the most part, he did a good job in the first half. A couple of calls could have gone the other way for either side, and for me, I always find it hard to point the finger at the referee when things don't go your way. And I think today, the winner today will certainly earn the points one way or another.
Here's Phelps over to Roberts. NCFC trying to get the press going, and they get it here with the challenge by Martinez. Cervania to Anderson. Comes into the box. Anderson!
Martinez has been absolutely everywhere, Brian.
Especially in the early phases of this second half, and looks like he's dealing with a cramp issue.
Wouldn't surprise me
as he won that challenge.
Yeah, we don't quite see it there, but Sylvania feeds Anderson off of a tackle from Martinez, and he just opens his hips up, looking to find that far corner. But it was great play from Martinez with the header back here, the tracking back to deal with Cabral a moment ago. And there he won the ball for his team, and that changed defense into attack in a split second. And Anderson just not quite able to find that far corner and get his team level.
And seeing North Carolina FC play, especially this year under Coach Bradford, he really wants to, I believe, emphasize, the first, stages of each half is when you get a chance to get to press, start the press. That time Martinez is a little late on the challenge of Sharifi.
Yeah, and the key is when you've got that momentum and that good opportunity and you're really pushing for it, you've got to take advantage of your chances. And in the first half, they weren't able to do so. Sylvania's down.
Yeah, colliding with Keziah Sterling. No whistle was called. And Sterling needed to be careful because he is on a yellow card.
I was just thinking that, Brian, yeah. I don't think, just like the challenge he picked up the yellow for, I don't think there's any malice in that. Cervenia got in there, and I think it was just a follow-through of Sterling as he went to ground. Is the referee going to have a chat? He's just walking away.
Yeah, I think Jordan Skelton is asking for it. His trainer's coming out to deal with Jaden Cervenia.
But it's we're sitting in the shade here, Brian. Energy sapping sun out there and humidity today as the storms have been looming. It's a tough one. Tormenta had a tough trip in midweek on the road, and the energy and emotion that you exert in a cup game. Well, they've equipped themselves well today, but just see how the next 35 minutes plays out.
Again, you see several NCFC players kind of asking about some of the most recent calls that have been made, as looks like Tormenta is going to be making a couple of changes of their own.
The magic spray's out.
Looks like Kingsford Ajay and Arthur Boshua are going to be coming in for Tormenta in the early stages of the second half. Not a lot of movement on the NCFC side of things, seeing if Cervenia can continue.
And I wouldn't be surprised, Brian, if we see Sterling coming off. He's on that yellow card. I believe it's one of his first starts of the season. And to bring these two boys in that have led the line so well for Tormenta this season is a really great thing to see for them. I would almost imagine this was a pre-planned sort of, you know, we'll start them on the bench, but we'll bring them in for a big 30 minutes or so in the second half. And
yeah, Cervenia is on his feet, walking over to the far side, and you see the changes being made. Adrian Billhart and Keziah Sterling being subbed off here in the 57th minute. Two-star attackers for Ian Cameron's Tormenta side, and now Kingsford Ajay, the Ghanaian, and Boshua, the South African, coming on for Tormenta.
Also in the 57th minute, coming out of the game for Tormenta, FC number 9.
Yeah, Boshua, a player we know from his time at the Battery, a big, strong forward. Gives him a different look up top, and Kingsford Ajay will run all day. So it's a totally different kettle of fish now for North Carolina, and kind of gives that energy back to Tormenta, I feel, now for the next 30 minutes or so.
Cervenia is back on the pitch, and he was able to link up with Olex Anderson. Cross was blocked by Dangler. Cleared out by Thorne, only as far as Martinez. McLaughlin will settle for Lou Young. Good evasion from the fullback. Martinez trying to slip it through. Went off the heel of Roberts. Recovered by Lou Young. McLaughlin trying to link up with Arriaga. And Roberts gets it clear, but that's a little bit better play from North Carolina FC as they're trying to link up just outside the box.
Yeah, there's not a lot of options and an awful amount of movement at this point in time, but they're probing.
And North Carolina FC is going to make a change. The captain, Pekka, is going to be coming on to the side. The elder statesman in the center of midfield.
It'll be interesting to see where Coach John Bradford's going with this. You know, is it a like-for-like change in the middle, or do we see a system change? That's a good ball.
Somersault finds Anderson! 2-2! And Olex Anderson has a goal and an assist. And he is on cloud 9 as North Carolina has tied it.
And what a goal it was, and you can see the sheer delight on Anderson's face. And boy, does that boy deserve it for the work he's done today. Look at the enjoyment there. But it's a great ball from Raheem Somersault. Threads it right between the back four. And he knows exactly where the net is. Olex Anderson, rich vein of form, 3-3, I believe now. He doesn't even look to see where the keeper is. He knows where the goal is, and he lashes it past Pablo Hara in goal. And it's their first multi-goal game of the season here at WakeMed Soccer Park, and game on.
And that last assist by Summersall, his last action as Pekka comes in. And you see the goal for Olex Anderson. Levels things at 2 here in the 59th minute.
And I was wondering, is that going to be his last action? I was wondering that. An interesting tweak from Coach Bradford, like for like, Pekka for Summersall. Pekka will certainly add some experience and nous in the middle and not afraid to put a tackle in. But what a ball from Summersall there to sign off. Drop the mic, I'm out, guys. I've got you back on level terms. You guys take it from here. But that was exactly what I think we'd talked about. Tormenta, they'd done such a good job of snuffing out those moments. They were a little bit stretched in that little period there, that little sequence, and Summersall threaded the eye of a needle, and Anderson did the rest.
So it's North Carolina 2, Tormenta 2, as the flag is going to be up.
I'd love to. For me, I could see McLaughlin's offside there. I think Anderson would be an interesting one, but he's laughing about it, so we'll give the linesman the benefit of the doubt.
Quick restart as Boshua was given chase on that one. And now both teams with a lot to play for as we have crossed the hour mark.
I'm just glad I'm not a gambling man, Brian, because how would you pick a winner in this game today? Hear the Oak City faithful, they're in full voice now, loving the spirit shown from North Carolina here to get things level.
And after Anderson scored that last goal, he's dealing with a small bit of discomfort.
Oof. Taking one to the sensitive area. And the question with Anderson will be how long he can go today. You know, I think we've seen him a number of games. He's been subbed off at, around about this time in the next 15 minutes. But obviously went the full 90 in Tucson, came up big on the penalty at a crucial moment in the 90th minute. But he's exerted a lot today, running those channels. And you see is his thigh heavily strapped there?
It looks like it. As Cabral tries to link up with Boshua. Boshua, very good center forward in terms of his aerial duels and his duels with center backs.
I think Skelton will be much happier up against Boshua. Size for size. As a Newcastle man, he's used to that, big for big. Bill Hart was causing no end problems on the ground and a real nuisance.
Good ball from Heckenberg to Roberts. And Jameel Roberts almost made it 3-2 as Kingsford Ajay crashed into the net. Ball still alive in the far corner. It stays with Tormenta.
What a touch from Roberts. Scampering through there in behind Liu Young. It's a great little ball. And he just tries to steer it to that back post where Kingsford Ajay was.
Quick throw in. And Boshua gets Tormenta FC a corner.
That was Heckenberg with that little clip pass in behind to set Roberts through.
Yeah, and Jameel Roberts will take the corner kick. We mentioned him in the open, how much of a success that he had playing at Marshall. He scored the game-winning goals in the quarterfinal game against Georgetown, the semifinal game against North Carolina, and the national championship golden goal winner against Indiana. Dengler puts it back into the box, and it's headed over by Ajay. Didn't really have time to guide it. It was more just put something on it. And
Dengler, Craig Dawson-esque, sort of rolling to the back post there, and nobody was tracking him. Headed it right back into the 6-yard box in front of the goal, and Ajay couldn't get the contact to steer it below the crossbar. But what a chance a couple of chances there for Tormenta.
And now North Carolina FC deciding to play from the back. Try to open those options for Anderson and McLaughlin if the defenders find the space to move the ball. Fernandez will decide to switch it to Liu Young. And Martinez gives it away. And a late whistle, giving a free kick
really
to Tormenta.
Really angering the North Carolina staff there.
Roberts on the quick restart. Ajay at the edge of the 6-yard box. And Cervania deals with it. John Bradford barking out orders. Obviously, as you said, the last few weeks, some calls might not have gone their way, especially in the home games they had against Greenville and Northern Colorado. North Carolina FC trying to get their first win of the campaign, and we have a handball.
Yeah, I think in that was a Northern Colorado game. There was a couple of penalty calls that I think looked blatant. A handball, there was a foul in the box. The first goal for Northern Colorado, when we looked back at it from a better angle, which is what the linesman would have had, was 2 yards offside. So the small margins there, and unfortunately they can lead to results going one way or another. But I think he'll just be really pleased with the way his team's hung in today and stuck at it against a very tough Tormenta team. And we've got 25 minutes plus of really intense competitive action here. No nonsense from Skelton.
Yeah, gets it to Anderson.
We'll claim he picked that one out.
Anderson with the outside of his boot. Arriaga wins the second ball. Martinez over to Liu Young. McLaughlin an option out wide. Trying to spin away from Jamil Roberts is Liu Young, and now Skelton under a bit of bother from Bashua. Fernandez, Blanco, Pekka. Anderson in space. Olex Anderson into the box. Tackle, penalty. Jake Dangler with the challenge. And Olex Anderson getting the space he needed, making that charging run into the box and drawing the PK.
Yeah, and he just finds a lane, gets the ball, gets on the turn, and he entices Dengler into the tackle, nips it away from him, and it's clear he doesn't get the ball. He gets Anderson, and he's put the ball in Anderson's hands now for an opportunity to make it 3-2 North Carolina. But it was all looking really static for a moment. There wasn't a lot of movement, but Anderson just positioned himself perfectly in between the midfield and the defense there, got the ball on the half turn, drew and enticed Dengler in. On that pace of Anderson, as a big, tall centre-back like myself, you're always teased into it, and you're tired, and you see the ball, and you know if you don't get it, you're in trouble. And unfortunately for Dengler, the referee gets that one just right, and it's a penalty. And it's exactly where he was this time last Saturday. 12 yards out, he went low into the keeper's right. We'll see what he's got this time.
Olex Anderson, striker from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, against Pablo Jara, the captain for Tormenta. And he scuffs it wide. Oh my goodness. Anderson just got that one completely wrong. And we are still level at 2.
Yeah, scratch your head moment there. He's tried to be a little bit too clever. Like I said, he went to the keeper's right last week. He's tried to go to the left and opened his hips up too much, and got a little bit too clever and too cute with it, and misses the target altogether. And it's a massive let-off for Tormenta. And once again, like I said, we know no idea what's going to happen in the rest of this game, and a couple of changes coming here.
Yeah, Owen Green and number 3 coming in for Curtis Thorne, and number 14, Alex Morrell, coming in for the goal scorer, Barry Sharifi. But what a turn of events here after Olex Anderson won the penalty. Opens the hips up too much and scuffs the PK wide. But will this give NCFC confidence as they try to counter here? Arriaga, Cervania, Anderson, marked by Green, the sub. Left foot cross dealt with by Dengler. Blanco over to Pekka. Now Skelton over to Christian Liu Young. Marked by Jameel Roberts. Tormenta have made 4 changes in 2 windows. They have 1 left. North Carolina has 2 windows left and 4 subs remaining in the final 20 minutes. North Carolina FC 2, Tormenta 2. And Young is going to be flagged for offsides. The title holders take the spotlight once again when New Mexico United travels to Orange County SC. Don't miss any of the action Saturday, January 4th at 9 p.m. on ESPN Deportes. Phelps looking for some movement in the midfield. Over to Nembard. Martinez tried to head it, but loses it to Ajay. Kingsford Ajay now at the edge of the box. Tracked by both Skelton and Pekka. And North Carolina's going to win a goal kick.
Yeah, expertly marshaled by Jordan Skelton there, and with support from Pekka, because there was a couple of bodies on that right side. And it's interesting the way Tormenta have shifted now. Morel coming in, much more of a flying right winger. So they've gone back to that trusted and tried and tested 4-4-2, it looks like more now, with Morel and Roberts supporting the flanks, with RJ and Boschua leading the line.
Nembard wins the header against Arriaga. Now Cabral. Player is down as Deshaun Nembard right in front of the NCFC bench on the challenge, and training staff looking at the fullback's head.
Yeah, I think there was just one there. He got a little nod on the ball there and made contact with the back of, was it Lou Young's head?
I believe it was.
No, Arriaga, yeah. They both go up for the ball, and you see he's okay to start with, and feels the after effects a little bit later.
Obviously important for players to go through the quick concussion protocol, as Tormenta do have 1 substitution left. And it looks like the fullback out of Belize is going to be okay. On the collision of heads. Plays restarted. Cabral over to Heckenberg. Dengler showed the ball to Pekka, and fortunately it falls into the path of Owen Green, the sub for Tormenta. Martinez won the ball, but plays allowed to continue as Cabral trying to put it in space for Green. Blanco with the header. Green keeps it alive, and Skelton gets it out of harm's way, but Heckenberg is back to the ball for Tormenta. Good spell here for the visitors as Boschua is in space. Brings it back to Morel. His cross goes past the end line.
And Brian, I love Heckenberg. It's like left, right foot, the little clips. He's got every golf club in his bag, it looks like there, as he just fed that ball into Morel on the right-hand side. Just a very cool, composed central midfielder.
Yeah, Heckenberg born in Santa Clara, California, but grew up in Australia. He was part of the Australia U19 national team.
And those two with Cabral as well, just very, very easy on the eye, those two as central midfielders.
And it looks like Tormenta run out of real estate as they're going to make their 5th and final sub, and it's going to be Umeda coming in for Cabral. So a change in the middle of the pitch. The Japanese player Kotaro Umeda, who played at Louisville and at Akron in college, comes in for the Brazilian Cabral.
He spent some time in Brazil and Portugal as well to his resume in terms of playing professionally, so he'll be looking to bring that flavor as well.
So Tormenta have used all their subs. With 15 minutes to go. Last thing they want is an injury.
Yeah, which after spending a lot of injury in midweek, you know, anything can happen, especially with Nembhard just got that bump on the head a few moments ago. Looks like he's okay, though.
And Tormenta, ever since that PK miss, they've gotten a good spell of the ball. Fernandez reads that throw well. Second ball kept alive by Tormenta. It's Green. Trying to get a beat on Cervania. And the second time he tried to put on the booster engines, touch was too heavy.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit of a tactical shift, I think, from Coach Cameron. He's gone for, initially they sort of sat in, I think, looking to sort of break now with Morel and some of the changes they've made, shifting back to that 4-4-2. That much more rigid 4-4-2. And they'll look to get back on the front foot.
Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the SXM app.
We've not seen much of McLaughlin this second half. It's important that North Carolina finds a way to get him involved.
Pekka trying to shield off Boschua, but that's a bit of a challenge with Boschua giving up height and weight to the 33-year-old Brazilian midfielder.
I said I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I'd probably say this has got 2-2 written all over it, Brian, but...
NCFC making their second change. Cole Frame is coming in for Nelson Martinez.
14, Nelson Martinez.
And it's going to move Arriaga into the center of midfield, but Martinez definitely put in a good shift, trying to win challenges. Obviously unfortunate that his touch gave the equalizer that made it 1-1, but early in the second half, he was getting in there and trying to win the ball back for his team.
Yeah, the distance and mileage he's covered was enough for 90 minutes, I would say. He does incredibly well on both sides of the ball. Very, very cultured in possession, but out of possession, very scrappy and gets around. And yeah, like you said, unfortunate with that one where he poked it away and it fell right to the feet of Keziah Sterling, who capitalized expertly.
Cervania trying to put Anderson in space to run. There's too much pace on the ball and it will fall out of play. Here in the 78th minute, North Carolina 2, Tormenta 2.
But it's an attacking change for him coming on. He's going to provide a lot of pace, a lot of energy. And Arriaga will slide in. So I look at it really positively for North Carolina.
And Tormenta win a free kick through Boschua on that header against Fernandez. That's what he's in there to do. Try to win balls against central defenders, and if not, get a free kick. As Tormenta, so far this second half, they've loved to play it quick, and they almost get a chance there with Jamil Roberts and Boschua running towards the far post. Phelps, who has played solid after picking up that yellow card early in the second minute.
Oh.
2v1 won by Boschua, but the flag is up, offside.
And that's what he gives you, that different look. Dengler just clipping one out towards Boschua, and Roberts knows exactly what to expect. The flick on, he'll win his fair share of those up top. I just strayed there in his excitement and anticipation.
Yeah, and Roberts could have been in there, especially on that header one by Boshuas. He now puts pressure on Pulisic.
Yeah, just for me, the composure of Pablo Jara. He's not misplaced many passes as he sprayed one out there a moment ago.
Boschua on the header. Morel, the shot. It was initially spilled by Pulisic, but he recovers, and one of the center backs looks like Skelton is cramping up on that challenge after Tormenta won the ball back.
Yeah, we talked about its energy-sapping conditions here. Big field. Big lads from Newcastle, the north of England, aren't used to this sort of humidity.
Yeah, Alex Morel had a good chance to make it 3-2 and give Tormenta the lead late.
I think these early kind of humid days when we're in May, right? We're not quite ready for these sort of conditions. They kind of sneak up on you. And as much as you prepare and get the fluids in, it's a huge, huge pitch out there. And it saps a lot out of you. But yeah, like I was saying, Pablo Jara just very composed, very cool, leads and organizes his back line, but kind of reminds me of Claudio Bravo, the fellow Chilean, I believe. Just spraying balls around from the back there and kind of like a quarterback. He's not the biggest at 6 foot tall. Oh, I think Skelton motioning for a substitute there, or is he just saying let's... Oh.
Yeah, bad giveaway by Pekka. Ajay evades the challenge, finds Jameel Roberts, and it's a good block by the North Carolina defense. I believe it was the captain, Skelton.
And it's a goal kick. Skelton's really struggling. He didn't need that from Pekka. I think he's saying, look.
And as you see on the replay, a giveaway from Pekka. Roberts was in the right spot, but a touch got away from him.
Yeah, he just can't sort his feet out, can he? Just cannot settle it to get that left foot shot off. And Pulisic does really well to stay big and even win the goal kick as well. But they've got to hit the reset button here in North Carolina. The game certainly going in Tormenta's favor at the moment. And
yeah, and that's what you saw John Skelton trying to do, trying to amplify his team as the captain of NCFC to give one final push in these last 10+ minutes of the match. Tied at 2. Pekka's brought down.
You see, it's so difficult. They'll get a lot of white shirts around every Navy shirt when they get the ball, and they're trying to play out a couple of bad giveaways at times here. They can't quite get into this attacking third and ask questions of this back four. They've marshaled it really well second half, Tormenta. Phelps and Dengler haven't really been asked the questions that they were asked in the first half, where I was worried that they would make the 90 minutes the way the game was going. But they've got their distances and between the back four and the midfield and where they're holding that line, they've got them absolutely spot on the second half. Always left it short.
Yeah, and Pulisic didn't realize it, and Boschua wins the challenge, taps it in, and Tormenta have a 3-2 lead on the road. Arthur Boschua with his second goal in USL League One, a gift that NCFC will be kicking themselves over.
Yeah, and they're just patiently building here across the back. Fernandez plays to Skelton, there's nothing on. Rolls it back to Pulisic, and he just didn't recognize where he was or where Boschua was. Boschua's been chasing everything since he came on. It was short. Pulisic is looking downfield, and before he knew it, Boschua was onto it. He didn't even know where the ball was after Pulisic had struck it, but it rolled so nicely for him. And he's not going to score an easier goal this season, Arthur Boschua.
No, he won't. 83rd minute, Tormenta with a 3-2 lead. And the substitutions for Ian Cameron have worked wonders as NCFC make their final change with Shokat Tahir in for Olex Anderson, who, with that PK miss, that really brings things into perspective now.
Yeah, it knocks the stuffing out of you. You give up a goal like that. Anderson's going off, knowing that hasn't quite got it done. But they find themselves a goal down again. Roll the dice. Can they get one back on the board here?
Tormenta FC goal at the 83rd minute of play from number 27.
There's plenty of time.
Arthur Bosway.
Arthur Boschua, the South African who, as you mentioned, Andrew, played with the Charleston Battery a couple years ago. And now they have renewed energy as Heckenberg wins the throw for his side, as several of we have some Tormenta fans here. Looks like some of the parents of the players making the drive from.
And who wouldn't want a lovely trip to Carey?
Tormenta, located in Statesboro, Georgia, about an hour from Savannah.
What are we putting that drive at?
From here?
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing they drove. They may have flown.
Yeah. But I was telling, the voice of North Carolina FC, Dean Linke, that especially with the new teams coming into League One, it really gives the opportunity to create some budding rivalries. And if you look at the 11 teams currently in USL League One, there's a good spot of teams, especially on the East Coast. When you look at sides like Richmond, Chattanooga, us. Charlotte, yes.
South Georgia.
And South Georgia. And next year, you're going to add to it with sides coming in from Fort Wayne, Indiana, as well as Lexington, Kentucky. And now NCFC looking for an equalizer here in the 87th minute. Can they put Pablo Jara under some pressure? He's able to claim this one against McLaughlin on the chip from Pekka.
And what an equalizer would do for North Carolina here against such a well-drilled back line and stubborn outfit in Tormenta, especially after the penalty miss, the gift of a goal for the third for Tormenta. To get an equalizer now, I think would almost feel like winning, given the hole they've dug themselves after working so hard to get back on level terms.
And you can hear Ian Cameron, the Glaswegian, barking out orders for his side in his second year as the head coach of Tormenta. And he's been a staple in the state of Georgia. Previously an assistant coach at his alma mater at Mercer. And then helped kind of follow the same path as John Bradford, as being, a huge part of the academy and then being an assistant before taking the job at the end of 2020.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job, and you can see there, just in that little combination, how well drilled this team is. They played out of an incredibly intense press from North Carolina. Pekka flying in and Frame buzzing around, trying to win the ball back. Bounce, bounce, bounce. They're out of there. Now they're controlling the game down the other end here.
You see a lot of North Carolina FC players, hands on knees, hands on hips. They've given so much energy. And that goal that they just gave up to Arthur Boschua, a true backbreaker. And now they got to defend a set pieces.
The big question, I think, coming for North Carolina is how much stoppage time we're going to see. We've seen a few injuries.
Wes Couette sorting some things out at the penalty spot. Jameel Roberts will send this one in. Punched out by Pulisic as it was darting in towards the net. And Tahir wins a free kick.
Oh, very crafty from Phelps there. He's
on a yellow.
He's on a yellow. He thought about thrashing it. He didn't thrash it. He sort of just let it hit him and fly away. Yeah, like very clever there.
What magic is left for North Carolina FC is up top you got McLaughlin, Frame, and Tahir. Three guys that kind of don't have the athletic prowess of winning some aerial duels. Kind of want to play to ball in space or balls to feet. As we are now in the 90th minute and awaiting the amount of added time here in the final stages of this second half. Arthur Boschua, 83rd minute goal that could be the winner.
They've got a sneak peek there, Brian. We'll see 5 minutes coming here.
And that does give North Carolina FC some hope, as the boys in blue will get a throw.
They've got to start committing some more numbers into the attack here and ask questions of this back four.
Tahir to Lou Young.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official
Cross goes all the way towards McLaughlin, dealt with by Green and by Dengler. And the second ball is won by Boschua, but Arriaga tracks back.
Yeah, for me, can Fernandez be up on Boschua there and be a little bit higher and try to get that ball before he does?
Yeah, the two center backs from North Carolina FC have spent so much energy. Kind of need to give a little more here as Lou Young wins a corner. And now the center backs will make way into the box. And Jaden Cervania with his left foot will try to send a corner kick in.
And this is exactly the moment that North Carolina needs to get some goals. They've only got goals through Cervania, McLaughlin and Anderson. Anderson's off the field. Cervania's taking the corner, so McLaughlin's the only man based on that theory that can score. You're looking for a Skelton or a Fernandez or anybody to chip in at this point in the season.
Some zonal marking from Tormenta inside the 6. And Skelton can't connect with a header.
Looking into the sun there, always going to be difficult, but clock ticks down.
Yeah, the NCFC captain, obviously he's going to have nightmares after giving up the ball that is potentially going to be the winner on a poor back pass to his goalkeeper. Young with the throw. Over frame, and Phelps gets it high in the air.
Oh, what a touch from Morel.
And he wins a free kick as well.
Pulled that one. Had snow as it came down, and he just cushioned it expertly.
The 28-year-old out of Florida. High draft pick in 2016. He was initially drafted by the Chicago Fire. He played with the Tampa Bay Rowdies as Boschua is flagged for offsides. As we are now into the 3rd minute of added time.
Yeah, we're just looking at McLaughlin's flicking the ball on there. There's only 2 of them up there against the back 4 for Tormenta. I thought Skelton might have gone forward, and I think throwing it down the middle of this back 4, they're going to eat it up for breakfast.
McLaughlin against the fullback Nembard. Second ball dealt with by Dengler. Now Pekka keeps it alive for NCFC. Lou Young. But a bit of flair from Tahir. Lou Young gets another corner. Big push now from the home side as they try to take a point here as Pulisic has now come forward. Goalkeeper now involved in the action as Cervania.
Sun's in their eyes, a lot of hands up, waving at the corner kick taker.
And it's dealt with by Tormenta. Although the second ball falls to Fernandez and he misses.
It's been a great game though, Brian. Had everything. Unfortunately for North Carolina, it had everything because we've had a penalty miss, we've had the fluff at the back there for the goal, but other than that, it's been an incredibly competitive contest between 2 really strong sides. Unfortunately for North Carolina, the bad luck, continues on a little bit. But they're not that far away, I think. And with 2 home games coming, you'd like to think that Another opportunity at Greenville, and then a game against Richmond, who they had fantastic success against last year. Can they provide that opportunity for the 3 points?
Arriaga to Cervania. Green deals with it.
On borrowed time now.
Into the final minute of added time. Tormenta kind of playing a high line. As Dangler wins the header.
But for Tormenta, just looking at it from the other perspective, after a tough trip to Florida, to come here and grind out a win after going behind and giving up a penalty, and this will feel massive for them.
Tahir to Liu Young. Kind of need to do something here, and they're going to get it, but it's a foul on Tahir as he was doing battle with Chris Heckenberg. And that is the full-time whistle. Tormenta now moves to first place in USL League One with a 3-2 win over North Carolina FC.
I think we saw everything that USL is about today. A great contest. Both teams really well organized, put everything into it. For Tormenta, they just got the different little noses in front of them, and they were never going to give it up.
A lot of emotions from both sides. Obviously, the PK miss could have given North Carolina a 3-2 lead, but it's Arthur Boshua who scores in the 83rd minute on a poor back pass from captain Jordan Skelton, and that gives Tormenta all 3 points. So for our director, Kyle Lang, and our entire crew, for my broadcast partner, Andrew Tate, I'm Brian Ware saying thanks again for watching this presentation of USL League One, where the final at Wake Med Soccer Park is North Carolina FC 2, South Georgia Tormenta FC 3. Tormenta gets its 3rd road win of the season in dramatic fashion.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.
great kind of highlight to what can be achieved at this level in USL. It's a great opportunity for these players.
And now Anderson trying to take